I've been watching the fallout from the photography industry in the last few weeks after F-Stoppers put out a video about the death of fashion photography. And I'm seeing a lot of people making a massive mistake. They're looking at AI as the enemy that's going to somehow steal their creative soul. But if you're running a video agency and you're stuck at that $250,000 revenue ceiling, AI isn't the enemy, it's actually the leverage you've been waiting for. You see, most creatives are using AI the wrong way. They're trying to use it to replace their creativity, which just ends up making their work look like everyone else's slop. The top 1%, they're using it to replace their administration and fulfillment. If you are still the one opening Premiere Pro every single day, or writing every creative brief from scratch, you aren't an agency owner. You're a high-paid freelancer. Today, I'm sharing the exact tech stack that allows you to fulfill 3 times the number of clients with 0 extra effort, so you can finally stop being the technician and start being the CEO. Let's talk about what I call the dead zone of $250,000 a year. There is a reason most video businesses hit a wall at $250,000 a year in revenue. I call it the dead zone, because at this level, you're too big to do everything yourself, but your profit margins are usually too thin to hire a massive team. So every new client you land feels like a double-edged sword. On the one hand, you need the revenue, you need the cash flow. But on the other hand, you know that that $10,000 project means you're going to be stuck in a dark room for the next 3 weeks, culling, syncing, and doing the rough cuts, with your partner at home wondering where you are. You're trading your life for deliverables. I worked with a business owner recently who was doing about $300,000 a year, but he was working 70-hour weeks. He was terrified of using AI because he thought it would make his craft worthless and that it wouldn't be seen as authentic. A lot of people seem to worry about this, but I told him, your craft isn't your ability to cut a timeline. Your craft is your strategic vision, your creativity, your inputs. Think about it for a second. Why does a heart surgeon have a team of nurses to prep the room, a technician to monitor the vitals, and an assistant to close the incision? It's because the surgeon's value is the 30 minutes of high-level decision-making during the operation. If the surgeon is also the one mopping the floor after the surgery, the hospital is losing money. If you think about it in these terms, in your business, Premiere Pro is the floor. AI is the cleaning crew. You are the surgeon. So what does the scalable tech stack actually look like? Well, let's talk about how this actually looks in a scaling agency. I'm not talking about making a video with a prompt here. I'm talking about systemized fulfillment. We break this into 3 phases inside the VBA. Phase 1 is pre-production intelligence. Instead of spending 3 hours writing a creative brief after a discovery call, we use AI to analyze the transcript. It identifies the client pain points, their target audience, and their competitors. It then drafts an ROI-focused strategy. You spend 10 minutes polishing it max with your years of experience instead of 3 hours staring at a blinking cursor. You just saved 2 hours and 50 minutes of CEO time. Phase 2 is what I call the invisible editor. If your team, or heaven forbid you, is still manually culling 4K footage, you are burning profit. There are now AI tools that handle the grunt work. They can remove silences, sync multicam setups, and even do a first pass assembly based on your script. This takes a task that used to be a full day of technical labor and turns it into a 20-minute creative review. You've just turned a $1,500 labor cost into a $50 software task. Phase 3 I call the content multiplier. This is where the real revenue scaling happens. You deliver a high-ticket brand film for $15,000. In the old days, that was the end of the project. But now, you use AI to atomize that one film into 30 pieces of social content. Shorts, reels, LinkedIn clips. The best bit is you get to charge the client an extra $5K for the distribution package. But the actual work only took your team an hour because the AI handled the resizing, the captioning, and the versioning. This is how you double your revenue without doubling your workload. But here's the warning sign. Most of you will listen to this and your ego will kick in. You'll say, no, Dan, I can't do that. No AI can edit like me. My clients want my specific creative touch. They want authenticity. Let's have a reality check, okay? Your clients don't actually care about your touch nearly as much as they care about their business results. So you need to be very careful here in allowing your ego to get in the way. Because if an AI-assisted workflow gets the project 90% of the way there, and you spend the final 10% giving it that strategic polish, the client gets the same result, often faster, and more importantly, you get your life back. So scaling beyond 250K is 10% tech, 90% psychology, but you have to be willing to let go of that technician identity. Because if you derive your self-worth from how well you can color grade or move a keyframe, you will stay broke. You aren't a video guy anymore. You're an architect building a system that delivers results. If you can't step away from the tools, you can't lead the people. So let's look at the math of profitability. Let's look at the numbers. If you do everything yourself, your profit margin might look like 80% on paper, but your effective hourly rate is actually quite low because you're working so many hours and you're doing all the work yourself. When you use the AI tech stack to handle fulfillment, your profit margin might drop to 70% because you're paying for software and perhaps a junior manager to oversee the bots. But your time involvement drops from 40 hours a project to 4 hours. Your effective hourly rate just jumped from $100 an hour to $1,000 an hour. That is the only way to scale. You use that extra 36 hours to go and find the next $50,000 client. That's how we get our members from 250K to 750K without them having a nervous breakdown. The next year is going to be a filter. You can either be the person struggling to keep up with the manual work or the one who uses the tools to build a high margin agency. Now, I put together a short quiz that will help you identify where you are on that scaling ladder and a strategy for exactly how to move into that more consultancy based model. Click the link below. Let's get your business ready for the year ahead. We don't do tactical adjustments. We do strategic shifts. Head over to denlennie.com, check out the link. Let's get you out of the edit suite and into the CEO chair.